Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecolored.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. This is what I've been making today. Well, not this exactly, it's what's inside it. So let me pull this out and you will see that it is a pop-up Valentine. It says I heart you and then it says love you lots on that side. Now I made a popping cube card. It was one of the first projects that I ever posted onto YouTube, and I've learned a lot since then. And I made a popping box card a few videos ago. If you look back, you can find it. And the method that I used there for attaching the elastic, because this is powered by elastic, as you can see, runs through there. It was much easier than the method I used originally, because I was following a set of instructions that said sew the elastic in. So that's what I did. I sewed the elastic into place, and it was pretty fiddly actually, and I found this method much easier. So stay with me and have a look and see what you think. These are the things that I'm using in my project today. I have two pieces of real red card, and they're 8 1/4 inches by 6. I've got 4 little squares of the Sending Love DSP, and I've got 2 in this pattern and 2 in this pattern, and they are 2 1/2 inches square. I've got some extra pieces of Whisper White and Real Red. I'm going to be using our Real Red glimmer paper and also Dazzling Diamonds glimmer paper. I'm going to be using the Sealed with Love stamps, and I'm going to be stamping in Real Red ink. And I'm also going to be using the Sweetheart punch and the large letters dies. I'm going to begin by scoring the real red card, and I've got the long edge at the top, and I'm going to score at the 2 3/4 inch mark and the 5 1/2 inch mark. And I'm going to turn my card and score at 1/2 inch and at 1/2 inch and 3 1/4 inches. And now I'm going to do the other piece of card exactly the same. I'm going to snip away these skinny rectangles of card here and here. Okay. And I'm just going to chop them off and tap into my corner there. And the same thing on this side. And snip into my corner just there. And now I've got a ruler, I've got my embossing stylus, I've got a silicone mat underneath my card, and I'm just going to score from corner to corner on the diagonal. And then I'm going to score from that corner to that corner again on the diagonal. Oops, don't move. It's okay, because we're going to cut this bit off. Just like that. And I'm going to cut away that triangle in the corner there. And now on this square I'm going to cut almost up to the place where the embossing lines cross. Start again. Now I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch. 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch away from this crease to this crease here. So I'm sort of creating a flap, and I'm going to cut away this piece. And I'm going to trim away the edges. Right. So now I'm going to repeat that onto this side. Now I've wound up with that shape, and I'm going to go and do exactly the same on the other piece of real red card. And I'm not going to throw these two pieces away, I'm going to keep them for something else. I'm going to burnish the folds. Here are both my pieces of card, and they've been scored and folded and burnished and cut, and now I'm going to begin sticking them together. But I'm just going to stick this piece here onto this piece here. And the reason why I'm doing this now is because I want my adhesive to have plenty of time to stick before I start doing silly things like putting elastic bands into it. There you go. And I'm making sure that that's a nice flat fold, and I want to leave that to have plenty of time for the glue to dry. This is one of the offcut pieces of card, and I'm just going to trim it down to 2.5 inches by 2 inches. And oops, get rid of these pieces that don't want to go. So on the long side, I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. Make sure I'm using my scoring blade. And at 1¼ inches. So I'm measuring on this side this time. And I'm going to flip it over. And this time I'm measuring to this side, and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch again. And then I am going to cut it in half. So I'm lining it up on the 1 inch line. So I've now got two similar pieces. These two bits of card are going to be what holds the elastic inside the cube. So I want to fold them. So I folded it in half, and then I've brought those two little flaps back the other way, so I get a sort of a T shape. I've got a 1/8 inch handheld circle punch, and I'm going to punch a little hole that's it's about just a little bit below halfway up, like that. And then with my snips, I'm going to cut an angle so that I make sort of a half arrow shape. Okay, so it looks a bit like that, right? And now I'm going to put some wet adhesive onto that piece, and I'm going to just hold it for a couple of seconds for the glue to set. And I'm going to do the same thing to this one. So now I'm going to glue these pieces inside the cube, and when I do, I'm going to make sure that the arrow is pointing in the same direction on both one. It doesn't matter which way it's pointing, it can be up or down, but they both have to be pointing in the same direction. And I'm using wet adhesive. The reason I'm using wet adhesive is because I really want this to be strong, and I'm lining up the fold of the box with the place where my I don't know what to call it, my elastic holder, I suppose, is folded. Okay, so that all the folds are lining up. And I'm going to do the same thing with this piece on this seam. And again, I want to make sure that the arrows are pointing in the same direction. So the point is pointing to the top relative to me. So I want to put that in the same place. And I want to put them more or less centrally and more or less opposite each other. Okay. So now that those pieces are firmly stuck in place, I'm going to stick the flaps to the sides of the box. So now I'm going to put that on one side and give it a good long time for the adhesive to dry. This is now nice and dry and well set, and now I'm going to put the elastic band in. It's a number 16 elastic band if you're interested. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to separate out that little V so that one bit points one way and the other bit points the other way. And I'm going to do that on both sides because that's going to make it a little bit easier to fit the elastic band. Now I hope I'm going to be able to enable you to see this clearly. I'll do my best, but it is a little bit fiddly, so here goes nothing. Okay, so I'm just putting the elastic down that slit and into the hole that I punched, and I'm just closing that up. I'm just pushing those together. Can you see that? Hope so. And now I'm going to put a couple of twists in the elastic because I want a nice firm pull on it. And I'm going to come over to the other side of the box, and I'm just going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to slide the elastic through the slit that I made in the holder there and into the hole. Okay. And I'm just going to let go, and that all now pops together beautifully. So all I have to do now is to stick the flap down, and I've got tear and tape on already, but I'm also going to put some of my liquid adhesive on top of it, and that's for two reasons. One is that it will give me a little bit of wiggle time on the tear and tape, and also it will be stronger to hold the piece in place when it's finished. So I'm just tucking that piece over, folding it, and I'm just going to press flat. And now I'm going to give that some time for the glue to set. I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So I've got my Sealed with Love stamps, and I'm using this one. It's a teeny tiny little one, and it says love you lots. Got it mounted up already on my clear block, and I'm using real red ink and just a little scrap of Whisper White because I'm going to cut it out. So inking up my stamp, I've got a silicone mat underneath, and I'm just going to stamp that around about there. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the ink to transfer. And when I pull that away, that has stamped very nicely. I'm just going to put the top back on the real red, otherwise I will stick my thumb in it. I'm just going to kind of roughly snip around carefully because I can see the ink is still a little bit wet in places, and I'm just roughly cutting around the outline of the shape. Here are the bits I've got ready to decorate the front panels of the cube, and I just need to cut one more heart out of glimmer paper. So I've got my punch and I'm going to turn it that way up. And I'm good to go. All my elements are ready now. I've got my letter I and my letter U, which I've cut out with the large letters dies out of Dazzling Diamonds paper. Couldn't think what it was called for a moment. And I've got my two sweethearts, which I punched out of the glimmer paper, and I've got my 4 panels of Sending Love DSP. So I'm just going to start sticking things together. So now all I have to do is put the panels onto the box. I just spent 5 minutes showing you how to make the outer sleeve to keep the cube in, and then discovered that I had forgotten to turn the camera on. But it is very, very straightforward. It's just a rectangle of card that's scored and folded and stuck together with some DSP on top and a glimmer paper heart. And I will put the measurements and the measurements for the cube onto my blog. So if you want those, hop over to there, and there's also a link below to my Facebook page, because I would really like to see your pictures as well. So if you go over to there, leave me a picture of what you've been up to. I would really love to see it. So there it is, all finished in all its glory. So thank you very, very much for joining me, and if you've liked this video, click the like button. Don't forget to share and to subscribe, and come back again soon, and I will see you then. Bye bye.